How many of you have ever carried a passenger? Or of those who have carried a passenger, how many of you have ever been a passenger? Well, let me turn that around. How many of you have carried a passenger without ever having been a passenger? How come? How do you know what's going on in the mind of that?
I like it back there.
What the passenger does?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about me riding on the back. I don't like to. So I've never been a passenger.
Because you don't want to be at risk, or
I don't trust him.
don't trust. How helpless do you think a passenger is?
Pretty helpless.
In other words, no, you are wrong.
Really?
If your rider of a motorcycle has a heart attack, has a stroke, or gets knocked off the bike with a deer leaping out of the woods and hitting them, leaving the passenger on the bike, is the passenger also going to die?
Depends on the passenger.
Say again?
Depends on the passenger.
Depends about what? What about the passenger?
Whether the passenger has their own set of skills or not.
The answer up here was, depends on whether or not the passenger has skills, meaning training. If you're a passenger and you don't ever plan to drive a motorcycle, you ought to take the MSF. That little lady is 5'3". I drive a Goldwing, and we demonstrate me having a heart attack. I have a backrest on my bike, and from the back seat, she can easily bend over the seat rest and me and get control of the bike. Meaning, the clutch lever, the front brake, and the throttle. She can't shift gears, and she can't hit the rear brake, but so what? How much about motorcycling involves balance? Just about this much, right? If it's moving, it stays up. In fact, a motorcycle literally tries to drive in a straight line, vertical, all by itself. You get knocked off a motorcycle, your bike will go through some wandering fighting with gravity and centrifugal force, trying to find a way to go straight and vertical. In other words, until your passenger gets control of the bike, may wobble a bit, maybe even aggressively, but they ain't going to fall down. And if you have control of the brake and the throttle and the clutch, and you know how to handle a motorcycle, you got MSF training, shouldn't you be able to take that motorcycle off-road, shut it down? You can reach the kill switch too, you know. What do they call it now? Engine cutoff switch. You can hit that with your thumb too, right? You can get that motorcycle down to a dead stop before it falls over. You're not likely to die from that.